Okay, I'm way far from that. Oh my goodness, I come with my mother instead of my mom. Already, if you accept yourself, the world will accept you.
So I got through the whole, I need to buy a Range Rover. And it's got to be top of the range. I actually know better about finances. I want to let this car go, but it's like, no, but you can't. How are you going to roll up in the meeting? What bag are you carrying? Being transformed into your authentic self is a lonely journey.
Our first episode was these two white ladies, right? And then afterwards, one of them was like, Mom, I'm so excited. The fact that I get to meet new people and now you guys are like friends to me. And I also was like, yeah, also if I just seen you at an event, girl, I don't think it. You know.
It's different when people start to share their stories and now you feel like you know them. Because by the end, Joe was like this on my shoulder.
Yes, I saw you guys holding hands.
We were doing a little sisterhood.
I was like, what are you guys doing? Yeah. But I mean, I guess it's unconscious bias. And I mean, as a coach, you would know it. So like unconscious bias, things that you don't know you do, but you do. Because, you know, when I also look at my friendship circle, and even when I was first thinking, how do I put these conversations together? Like the first criticism I got, I was like, I've got a fantastic, you know, panel and series of conversations, all these women. And the first feedback I got is, why are they all black? And I'm like,
you didn't realize.
What are they? You know? And even if you went to like, I went to, back then it was called Model C schools, you know, you had white friends. And of course you're like going to sleep over at Tarrant's house. And then, but like grade 9, 10, it starts getting,
they start to
the
fizzle.
circle gets a little blacker.
The click starts clicking.
You know, like what happens?
Yeah.
How do you think, what do you think happens?
I don't know, to be honest, but it's more of, you know, it's all of these things, your experiences, your culture. So eventually you navigate to who you are. So life just pushes you, it shapes you to who you really are. So you gravitate to people that are more like you.
Yes, I think you get to a point where you get tired of explaining your nuances as an individual of a certain color. I don't want to have to explain what I'm going... Because as we get older, we go through things, and there are certain things that you get tired of explaining. So I think just unconsciously, we then just gravitate towards each other because I don't have to explain something when I say, yo, ekaya uma ABCD, like, girl, she did it to me too. So I think it's unconsciously, because I also had the same experiences, and it's so funny now in my adult life, those people are coming back into my life.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it's kind of a thing when you're growing up. I think it's also finding your identity and your place in the world, and because I'm navigating so many things, let me stay with the constant that I know, the one thing that's not a variable.
But besides, it's like, as I say, yourself, being yourself. Even with friends, you find that you are drawn more to a person who understands you, who you don't have to pretend. You understand? If you know you are comfortable. You know, I don't have, they accept me the way I am. So you tend to move towards those people. So I think it's more of that. And then as we grow older as well, you want to be more authentic. It's natural. You know, because you can lie for so long. Eventually, I promise you, you know, when they say
only keep it up for...
No, you can't keep it up for too long.
That's why relationships last 3 months. Honeymoon phase.
Exactly.
Because that's when the mask comes off. Like, what happened? The person gets tired of pretending.
You are wondering what is going on at this table. We are talking all things friendships, relationships, and how we find ourselves having relationships with people who look and sound like us, who we relate to, but unconsciously we could actually be exercising bias.
Absolutely.
We could be exercising discrimination.
True.
And that is more prevalent when you look at things like privilege. Like, oh, my natural affinity is to people who are like me, but if people who are like me are only people who twang like Sam and, you know, went to a private school, what does that mean for someone who didn't go to a private school? What does that mean for someone who doesn't have black privilege? Because black privilege is a thing. Let's name it. Let's place it on the table.
Is it a thing?
Black privilege. Yeah.
Examples, please.
Examples of black privilege. Examples of black privilege is when you walk into an interview and you go in and you say, hi, my name is Samke, but you can call me Sam. Like, oh, hey, Sam, how are you? And there's that affinity with different races because, but you can call me Sam instead of me walking in and saying, hello, everyone, my name is Pumzile.
So, okay.
Okay.
For me, you know what it is? For me, I wouldn't call it black privilege. I would call it a form of tokenizing because for me, when you say black privilege, you have to count the entire race together. Everyone has to be benefiting. You're segregating by accent.
No. So, okay, hang on a minute. So
because
what
if it's black privilege, it shouldn't matter if
no,
I speak like
okay.
that.
What do I mean by black privilege is you are privileged within black society.
Okay.
So classism, yes. So I don't mean that. Okay, it's a form of class. It's like pretty privilege. When you've got pretty privilege, because you're pretty, there's certain things that are easier for you.
That's
okay.
True. That's true.
And black privilege, because we tend to think, oh, everybody's previously disadvantaged. No, they're not.
Okay.
Okay. Sure. Some have been politically connected. Sure. Some actually had money from back in the day, even during apartheid, had those networks, and so the hurdles we are facing are not the same.
Yeah.
And what we're talking about is we're talking about friendships and how, you know, yesterday we were having a conversation with a group that had white ladies in them, and we got along so well, and I was surprised. But I was like, why was I surprised? Because when I was in primary school, I had white friends. I'd go for sleepovers, and then somehow during high school and uni, it fizzles out. And when you're looking through your phone book, it's like, hey, bo, if I want to go to lunch, maybe I'm bored.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, where's Shaz? And you know, Shaz is a very black name, even though it's English. Y'all know I'm talking about a black woman, right? Where's Makgotso? Where's Vika? Why don't I say, where's Michelle? You know, where's Perry? Where's what happens along the way?
But why?
So
That's the question. No, but why? You tell us.
But you're the coach, and you explained it.
But
you know why you phone Shaz over Michelle.
Let me tell you, as a coach, I don't have the answers. As a coach, you've got the answers. My job is to get you to the answers. So I want you to tell us why.
Okay, why? Because over time, you know, I think as you grow up, there's certain realizations you make about how the world works. Yeah. And unfortunately, a big portion of how the world works is racially based. And I see it even with my son, who's in grade 8, he's 13, where he's starting to be like, no, mom,
he's
you know,
seeing things.
I don't want to name names.
He's seeing the vibe change.
Ben is not my friend anymore. Like, Lutumo's my friend. I'm like, but why? He's like, no, we just don't vibe.
Vibe check is
what does that
changing.
mean? Just don't vibe. What does that
I
mean?
saw it with my daughter. So my eldest daughter, junior school, white friends, mix, whatever. We get to girls prep, and by, let's say, grade 6, all the friends are black. And I'm like, but how?
As soon as grade 6?
Yeah, as early as that. And I tried to ask her, but I didn't get like a straight answer. But I was just like, this is so profound, because also this is a child who's very liberal, who's open-minded. We've gone to every play date you can think of. And we're not the type of parents to have like super racial conversations in the house, right? We were very mindful when they were small, but I was like, look at the choices she's making. So I don't actually know what it is, but it's almost like you start to get a familiarity, you start to get a sense of where am I welcome, where am I not welcome? And then I guess you just move to where you're loved and there's a sense of belonging, because sometimes, and I mean, I don't think it's like that with every single black or white relationship, but there are those things where you start to get a sense of like, inauthentic exchange, or
like that smile.
Yeah. Oh, you know how they do that? Don't even get me started. Like, in the morning.
But even that, the fact that we all know what we're talking about, you don't even need to explain it.
And it's funny because even us, if I think of myself like 20s, 30s, I was happy to do the smile back. In my 40s, I
ain't got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Like, are you for real?
But you spoke about when you were explaining black privilege in an interview where you say, I'm some gay or I'm Sam. I just want you to go deeper because I lost you somewhere.
Oh, do you say some gay or do you say Sam?
Yes,
So
why?
I was using that as an example, but what I found is it took me a long time. When I was growing up in school, you know, my teachers couldn't say samke. I mean, you can say Tchaikovsky, but you can't say samke. I mean, you know, but it would be like, can I call you Sam? And I realized when I'm in spaces, and it comes from a place of insecurity, where I'm in spaces where I feel like I very quickly need to get you to like me. Very quick. Yes, I'll be like, but you can call me Sam. I make it easier for you. I make it comfortable for you. Yes.
Same, by the way.
And now it's taken me a while to say, no, you can call me
It's
something.
funny you should say that, because I have a English primary name, Charmaine, right? My Zulu name is very rarely ever used. It's
Tell
used
us,
by...
friend.
What is it?
Spelele.
And said,
I've known you 5 years. It's the first time I heard it.
Exactly. You've known me 5 years and she doesn't. Wow. Now it's out there. Okay. But because usually like in work emails or whatever where you just sign off things, Charmaine, people assume you're a typical Charmaine. And they get on the phone with you and she sounds like a Charmaine. Let's get into the meeting. They were like, oh, we're waiting for Charmaine. I'm like, I'm here. It's me. And they're like, oh, on the phone. It was me on the phone. It's still me. So I definitely get that, especially in the workplace, because my name was, if you didn't see my surname, you wouldn't have known. And because my surname Dube is also French, if you just put a little...
Oh, Dube.
If you put a little... So they wouldn't know what's Zish until they actually see me in a meeting. So now you see the treatment that I was getting in the emails and while things were being formulated. Then when you're in the room, they're like,
you're not what they expected.
Exactly. And so I've seen the differences in that and just the name alone.
So for me, I think it's a more of wanting to be accepted. So we as people, we feel like we need to be accepted, and to be accepted, we need to behave a certain way in terms of what the society thinks we should be. So one of the things that makes this world not such a better place, or even our country, is authenticity. Because we don't come as ourselves, as who we are.
Scary.
I don't get to see some gay. Sometimes people even die without us getting to meet the real person. And that is where the gem is. You understand? The real you.
But what if the real you is not accepted? So
no, if you accept yourself, the world will accept you.
Have you gone through a journey of accepting?
I've gone through. No.
Unpack, sister. Put it on the table.
Now, where I am now, this is me. This is Makgotso.
Yes.
You understand? As she comes.
Yes.
Because, okay, I struggled in terms of acceptance. Okay, let's say in terms of career, I thought, to be successful, I always wanted to be in business, do these amazing things. But when I see all these successful women, they have stories. Hey, my dad was a doctor. Oh, they've got this accent. And then I thought, oh, my.
Are you attacking me right now? Because my dad was a doctor and I have an accent.
Exactly. I'm like, I look at Sam. I'm like, you see, to be a presenter, you have to be, I wanted to be a presenter. To be a presenter, you have to have Sam's accent. Okay, I'm very far from that. Oh, my goodness. I come with my mother instead of my mom. Ooh, already that is working against me. And then, I promise you, I've suffered. And then I'm like, and this thing is burning. I want to be there. But I'm like, and then Sam, and then she tells us her story. Oh, my dad is a doctor. And I'm like, okay, another disqualified already. You know, Mina, I'm the first one to graduate in terms of our family. First one. So you understand? And I'm like, I don't have educated parents, no rich parent, no accent. Nah, man. So I still to get in, you know, already everything is against me. Until I realized, nah, no ways. Because I know what's inside. And we all know. We all.
There's no accent.
We all know. And then even the course that I chose, I think it was trying to prove to the world. Oh, yeah, I'm smart.
Computer science.
BSc computer science.
Yes, tech. Girls in tech.
What?
Yes. You know, even when I chose it, I want a difficult one. You see that one? That's the one that I want. I'm gonna.
They will know me.
So exactly. So you see, the motivation was wrong. What was driving me was not the right thing. Exactly. It was acceptance. I wanted to, because I was rejected a lot growing up. Because I was that kid. I promise you. You know, the one that you go to school, okay, just a bit of my background.
Give it all, girl.
Oh, do we have the whole day? So my parents divorced. So I was 4 years old. So we moved from my mom's house to my from my dad's house to my granny's house. And it was like our aunts were staying. It was like 16 people. The only space that was available was under the table. This table is too big. Then we slept under the table. So as a 4-year-old, whenever I wake up, I would hit this table. I can't forget. You just go, and then you understand, and the table will limit me. My mom had to wake up very early to go to work. And then, okay, when I started school around 6, I must prepare myself. Okay. And then, as well, financially, we're not doing well. And I always say financially, I never say we were poor. To be honest, even to this day, I don't believe I was poor. As much as we didn't have the love that I got.
Was not poor.
Was not poor. The dream that I had was very rich. So I never felt poor. Although the world perceived me as poor. You know, but Mina, I don't believe I was poor. We can say we lacked financially.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and I'm not even embarrassed to say I was poor if I felt poor. Yes. I never felt it.
Yeah. You didn't have the mind. You didn't see yourself as poor.
I just saw, okay, we don't have cheese, we don't have a fridge, we're sleeping under the table, wada. And then going to school, you use, you know, these people at Sunlight Soap, you can use it for multi...
Yeah.
Dishes, clothing, body wash,
baby. And then working to brush your teeth. And then mommy's not even there to help me. I guess she has to go to work. So Mina, I'm the 6-year-old. Ooh. So I looked, and then I used to wee as well. Ne? So you imagine how I smelled. And we've got this Vascom that I have to...
What's a Vascom?
Oh, Sam, you see, doctors and all that. And this little dish.
Dish.
Yeah.
So that was just a language barrier. It's just a language barrier.
So now, exactly, that's what we used. So, and then, okay, as lotion, I used to use fish oil. So imagine all the smell that's I promise you, wholesome. Even me and my sister, we liked wholesome. You remember wholesome?
Listen, my
so
mom,
we like debating. We like debating for whether you don't know.
You are touching my core memory. There was a day where my mom took us to creche, was toba with butter.
You see.
I remember that because I went to school smelling like butter, and the kids were like, "Why do you smell like cookies?"
Mina, it was my everyday thing. It was my norm. So, but
you
know,
just
kids,
unlocked core memory.
But kids are kids. So now you smell like wholesome, and then plus you didn't bath properly, and then Mina just take, and my older sister she's only 4 years older than me, she's still a child herself. I just take my dangari, whatever tunic from, you know, I look like, the cow just, you know, had fun with, and then I just go to school. But I was brilliant in terms of, you know, I was not like your age student number one, but I was brilliant. I was not struggling in terms of, but I was overlooked.
Oh,
you understand? So hence you understand. So I was overlooked. People looked, and it's because of the presentation. You understand? So I grew up with that thing. So it was always I wanna prove. You understand? They'll see me. You know?
And that's how you ended up in the course that you don't
so that's why I promise you. For it was that. So now wanting to fit in until I'm like no. Yeah. And one thing, my greatest gift of value, one thing that I value the most is honesty. I'm very honest. I'm a very honest person. So I became honest with myself. Who am I? Who am I trying to please?
That's it.
You know, I'm like, no, and who says their accent is the best accent? According to whose standards?
Exactly.
I'm going to show up as me.
Yes.
I'm going to show up as Makgotso. It's when I started to do that, that my world flipped. The world now started to know who Makgotso is. And already I'm seeing dividends. It's paying off already just by being myself.
Honey, the world knows what. Google Makgotso Masingi-Zondo, honey. You will know her, okay? She is Googleable. Not only the work you've done in the world, but the work you've done in yourself. I was privileged to attend one of your women's brunches last year, and I shared with you that I didn't even want to get out of bed that day. But the words you spoke into me, and even saying how, you know, we're in this beautiful setting, your home, on the rolling hills of West Cliff, okay? And you were like, we're sitting here, you know, looking all pretty in this pretty environment, but we're all going through something. And the tears that were falling, and the fact that because you have walked this journey of feeling alone, because I'm sure you're not the only person that has had those thoughts or encountered those challenges, feeling alone and coming to this 360 where you can say, I will now create spaces for people to be authentic, whether you twang, whether you are my mother, you know, I see you. And that's what you do. You see people. And going from, you know, a corporate executive in technology to being an executive coach and helping people unlock what's in them, for me, that testimony is just so...
Girl, you know, lately in the news, I've been seeing that inclusivity is under interrogation.
That's right.
And I really want to just ask you a question, because a lot of people have been coming at me from our last season about why is Profmed only for professionals? And I was just like, I'm going to talk to my girl, Sam.
Yes, thank you for putting me on the spot, but I am ready, okay? Well, let's take it to where Profmed began, right? Profmed was started 60 years ago by doctors for doctors. It was a solution to a problem that they had faced. And over the years, they've gone on to expand themselves to cover accountants, lawyers, and now any graduate professional. Now, I know, and I have also heard that rhetoric that, but why would it only be, you know, graduate professionals, people with degrees? And the thing is, there's a specific behavior that has been assessed, right, with people or in people who are graduates, and that allows them to be pulled together for risk purposes, allowing Profmed to then provide specific solutions and specific premiums that cover that pool of professionals. So all races, all ages, all, you know, beliefs, if you are a graduate professional, you are welcome and belong at Profmed, just like I am a proud member.
Okay, well, you have your answer, and you can stop texting me about it.
Are you a proud member?
I'm coming.
I remember the testimony. The thing that stuck with me is when you said, I was waiting for people to give me permission.
Oh,
Yo.
honey.
Yo. And she's like, I waited. I was like, do I need to fix my accent? Do I need to do this? Do I need to? And then she was like, I spoke to God, and then I realized I'm going to give myself permission.
Oh.
And I'm only going to make this deal with God, and that's it. I don't need anybody else's permission.
Yeah.
That is the day it went like this in my mind.
Yeah.
That it's almost like I was waiting to qualify societally, corporately, whatever, waiting for someone to say, okay, Vika, you can come and sit here.
But Vika, you were qualified. Miss Luxury, Miss I'm hosting picnics in France. Miss Ma'am, we know about you.
Don't even get me started. When I first encountered Vika, it was at a wine event through our mutual friend, and I was looking at this girl. I'm like, these wine owners love her. Who is this? Then I saw it at a wine festival. I'm like, she's got her own wine. What is going on?
Yes. I was waiting for to belong, but I just happened to have my own rosé. Where are you belonging, ma'am?
Let me explain, guys.
Please.
So there's the things you do out there, but then there's also the conversations that happen within you.
Right.
So it's crazy how, like, when people talk to me about me, I get shocked, right? So when people give me compliments or remark about my business savvy, I'm thinking, who are you talking about, right? It takes me a second, because I'll tell you, when my first session with my therapist, she sat with her hands like this, and I was like, what's wrong? And she said, I'm worried about how you speak to yourself.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I was like, what? How do other people talk
About themselves.
And she was like, no. The first thing we need to work on is the things that you say to yourself. It was that bad. So you can imagine that I'm sitting waiting for people to, welcome me, give me permission, and all of these things, because inside the dialogue is toxic. Out there, by God's grace, it always just comes out beautiful. And maybe that's also like the perfectionist and the overachiever and the whatever, right? It's always got to be perfect. So it always comes out that way. But there's a lot of work
The price
with
to
the
pay
inner
for
man,
that,
right? Who still hasn't given her the permission to say, actually, Vika, you are doing well. You do belong. You don't need to prove anything to anyone.
But
That was the unlock.
Yeah, sorry, friend, for coming in there. So, but what I've also realized, and that I like everybody to be aware of, I promise you, this is so true. Your path, your accent, everything that I went through, is what I needed for my purpose, for my reason for being. I needed the exact house, the exact mom, the exact parents, the exact smell, I promise you. For what? That's why today I don't have it in me to judge another person or to overlook, because I know how it feels like. Because God knew the work that I'm meant to do here. So I can't come and be, I'm a coach, with that accent. You understand? Everything is proper. How are they going to relate? Like, I can't even go and sign up because this person.
How are you going to connect?
You understand? Exactly. So everything, it all works out. Your life is perfect the way
it is.
For what you meant to be. With your dad as a doctor and whatever your accent, for your work that you're doing.
Yes.
Perfect. Sure. So if people were to realize, God never makes a mistake. Never.
My worry is that I have missed out on so many great Makgotsos because I didn't see them, because of my unconscious bias. We spoke about the fact that we go where we're comfortable. So when I hear someone else being, and I'll tell you where it comes from, because actually I did have this conversation with a friend of mine, and she was like, but let's unpack that. And she's like, Samke, I feel comfortable having this conversation with you because we're both trying and we both went to a Saint something high school.
So you won't judge me.
We can be honest with each other. Like,
you won't judge me for my shortcomings.
Because I do the same thing. So okay, what is happening? And I was like, when I was growing up, we stayed in the township, obviously, 92, 93, 94, going to a Model C school when I first started grade 1, grade 2, and would have e-school transport. And my uniform was obviously different from the other kids in the township, because when we go gym dress, the black with the white shirt or the blue or the khaki, and some kid comes with a little check thing, and bang in the Christian school, and she's like, hi guys, and they're like, so for me, the knack and that accent in my mind triggers I'm going to bully you. You're not one of us. You think you're better. I don't like you. Yes. So it makes me feel like you're already going to think I think I'm better. So I will keep my distance so you don't judge me.
But you'll also feed into
so that I don't misstep. So let me want to just keep my distance.
It's actually quite a defensive.
And now, and now I'm manifesting and I'm perpetuating the very thing.
Yeah, you feed into it. That happened to me as well, because we were same situation. We were in Model C school, but we're in the township, and someone was like, when you don't date anyone, I was like, I don't date township boys. My first boyfriend was the son of a judge, honey. So I was always like, but to speak to some kids, because they had been like, you go to a different school, already they were pushing me out. So by the time I'm a teenager, I'm now giving it back to them. Why would I date you? Why would I date you? Exactly. So you end up taking that and using it as a revenge armor against you.
It's armor. It is armor. Yeah.
Oh, wow. And you know what's interesting? Because remember, I always wanted to prove a point and to be accepted. So I pushed in terms of to be there. Achievement. It's like, and I knew I'm going to get there. And then I made sure, because I wanted so bad to wear that uniform that you're talking about, that blazer. Oh my goodness. If I can just see my life is not fair, So
you wanted to be accepted by us. We wanted to be accepted by you. Everybody's trying to be accepted by everybody. And then we end up pushing each other away.
You see, crazy? I just wanted that uniform, but I thought, you will see. When I grow up, hey, I promise you, I made sure, I promise you, my kids, they go to the best schools, the best of the best. The house, get that dining room table. Oh, baby, I'm gonna have, I'm gonna
take to the sky.
You walk into Makgotso's house and you feel like you walk into the Palace of Versailles. Like, you do. No. Her furniture is like, where did you buy this cup? Where did you buy this table? Where did you buy this teaspoon? Where did you buy this dishcloth? Where did you buy this? Everything is just
immaculate.
I will show you. To the teaspoon.
No, but
you're staring, you're like,
no. But that part is not. It's who I am because of my parents. They as much as they didn't have, they are those type of
home choice when they were still using.
So that is genetic.
I get
that
it.
is just
I
me.
get it.
You see, that's just you. Even how I look, I'm like, why is she looking like this? That's who I am. Because I sucked it from my mom. My mom is very, that's how she raised us. So nonetheless, I pushed to achieve all of those and whatever fancy degrees and whatever. But in the end, I had all of these things, cars, whatever. But man, something is missing. I'm not happy. I'm not happy. Okay, I've got this and then. There's no fulfillment. That's why it's only when I stepped into and then life pushed me for me to step into who Makgotso is. Baby, you see those? Talk about a storm and a half. Where I went to God, how did I get back to this? I felt like I was under the table
again.
And then this is one thing that I ran away from for so long.
And here it
My
is
monster
again.
was poverty. So I was running from this monster for a very long time.
And what you flee from will chase you.
And I was not even aware. So what was driving me was poverty, and I was not aware. Because how I became aware, no man, let's check. Even my ex, ambition I dropped you. Poverty. No, this one. You don't get exemption. Sorry. You're not my guy. Moving right along.
Let me see your transcript.
Exactly. You see, I want someone who's a dreamer.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I'm still guilty of this. This is like a puppy date. Oh, you're still guilty of this? Oh my God. What do we do? We need to do relationship coaching, guys. You can't start like that. You cannot. There's pressure on these guys.
No, but now let me tell you one thing. I don't mind. You can come to me without bad ambition. Because I know. No, I know you can always get. I was there. So I know getting is not a problem.
And you can fall and
it's
come back.
Inside. Yes,
but it's like,
it's a drive.
Who's the inner man?
The
What's
inner
driving?
man. What's driving the inner man? I want to know that person. That person, we can get him wherever. You understand? Okay, when I go to the moon, we go, baby. You understand?
I just want to get into sort of a more leveled playing field. So we've discussed, Uguti, you had issues because of the accent and coming in. And maybe, Vika, this applies to you better because you seemingly have the accent and you go into this luxury space. So already you have the perception, now you're in a luxury space, but luxury has levels. How does going into that look like for you as someone already on the acceptance playing field? Is it then now more difficult? Is it better? What does it look like?
It's interesting because for me, again, I think it was madness because it was all in my head, but I felt like there needs to be qualifiers, right? You're in Johannesburg, check. People are judging, okay? So now you've come from, yes, proper marketing background, proper qualifications, but for most of my career, I'd been selling beer at SAB Miller, the School of Marketing.
Yes.
But now I'm in this luxury space and somehow I felt like I don't have the cred. Because you're dealing with very wealthy people. And in my mind, I created this lie that wealthy people are better. And so I couldn't
I think it's in many minds.
Right. So you don't believe that you can just come as you are. Yeah. So I was like, okay, they're going to want to know, am I a trust fund baby? Am I not? Right? What right do you have to talk to us about luxury? Where did you grow up and who's your father and who's your mother? So I went through this whole thing where I was like,
from,
do you know what I mean? And I know what I'm talking about. But then it was the bag. So I got through the whole, I need to buy a Range Rover and it's got to be top of the range. Because when I
autobiography,
not entry level, child. Not quarter two o'clock, baby.
And yes, I did desire to buy a Range Rover by the time I was 30. So there was also the overachiever thing. But I felt like I wanted it for myself initially, but once I got into the luxury space, it was like it is now necessary.
It's part of your identity.
And it's funny now. It was like you can't lose it. And so I had it at 30. And then I'm now 30, whatever, late 30s. I actually know better about finances. I want to let this car go, but it's like, no, but you can't. How are you going to roll up in the meeting? What bag are you carrying? Right?
What design are you wearing?
What bag are you putting on the table? What car keys are you putting on the table?
Even though by this time I know enough about finance and I've been advised by our family office guy to know that this
doesn't make sense.
Yeah, these things don't make financial sense. But now I'm like, no, they're necessary.
For my business.
So how I show us in the world. So I can't explain to you the social pressure that is there in Johannesburg because the women that you're trying to say, okay, I want to curate this for you, I want to do this for you, they do size you up.
They're popping up with
and there's a daughter, I'll never mention her name, but her dad is super uber wealthy. And I don't want to say how wealthy because then it'll become too obvious.
Because we'll narrow it down.
Yeah, we'll be able to narrow it easily. But she said to me, and I asked her because I was like, this child is a trust fund baby. Surely she's different, right? She's lived abroad and we were sitting at a coffee shop. And I asked her, does it matter if I'm wearing Hermes or da-da-da? And she said, yeah, it does. And I was shocked, because I was hoping...
No!
Yes!
From
I was hoping for it to give me permission, right?
Yes.
Permission. To be like, no, come as you are. No, honey,
bring your honey.
Not. And in that moment, it's almost like the devil just found this window to further reinforce the fact that you are not enough. You need to do more. You need to posture more. And then, so the amount of work it takes to then go, no, this is like no, it's not going to work. Because it's a vicious cycle and people just consume and consume.
And you're working against yourself.
Better. So I was like, you know what, God, I need to be able to stand. I need to be able to stand against this whole grain because the whole purpose of why I'm in luxury is to educate people about freedom, choice, what luxury is.
open it
It's
up.
time. You've got to be able to have your own value system. What do I want to do with my money? Not, I must now queue at the Diamond Walk. I must have this bag. I must have this car. I must have this.
Yeah.
Like, so then I was like, oh, this is so there's always these layers that you talk about. But let me tell you, real wealth, and we all know this, it doesn't show. Guys, silent night.
Very.
Whispers. So that I think that was the thing that I stood on, is that actually at the end of the day, I'm enough as I am. I know what I've been called for, and I cannot keep up with the rat race, because all that happens is your pocket gets diminished, honey. And there's always
As does your soul.
Nah. There's a new watch, there's a new car, there's a new man. You will never be wealthy enough. So then it was like, okay, listen, this is who I am. This is our positioning. This is what we offer. And it's a tribe thing. So you're either with us or you're not. You either appreciate this offering or you're not. But the truth of the matter is, as much as there are levels to luxury, I think the real luxury right now is being your authentic self and showing up in the world and giving of your gifts in the most authentic and selfless way.
You've said
That's it.
Spirit fingers.
That's it.
We can
So-
go home now.
I love it so much. I love it so. Is the world ready for that? What do I mean? I mean, what is the price to pay for being your authentic self in business, in the workplace? What is the price? Because we can't, let's not be naive about it. Be yourself, baby. There'll be some place where we'll be like, yourself doesn't suit us so much. Next.
No, but what you need to realize is that our problem, we want to be accepted by everybody.
Okay.
That is why even in business, they said your niche, your what?
Yeah.
For who you meant to serve, you've got enough audience.
Oh.
You've got your audience. So you don't have to want to be accepted by what. Just be yourself. You will be able to make a lot of money by being with your audience.
You know what it is though, friend? It's easier said than done. Because I know the first time, it wasn't the first time, but let me say the first time I was willing to listen to God about this call was during lockdown. And I wanted to pivot in terms of how we show up, in terms of the experiences we do, who we are, become more inclusive. But when he was talking to me at that time, and I wasn't able to posture with my events and my lux and whatever, and it was very lonely. It was very lonely. So as much as
Tell me, so we are missing you. It was lonely, maybe just
being transformed into your authentic self is a lonely journey.
Oh,
Because you have to shed so much of who you were, which wasn't even the real you, by the way, but the circles you had formed, the networks, the connections,
Safety nets.
yeah. And now you're saying, oh no. Okay, I'm no longer standing for that. Oh no, I'm not gonna go with that crew. When you start to now pull away, right? Because God is now doing a new work in you. And he's saying, Vika, I don't want you there. I don't want you doing that anymore. Do this. You know who I am. You know my principles. It's lonely.
It is lonely.
Because all of a sudden you feel like, oh shoot, where do I fit in? And the real people are at church and they're not cute. They're just not sexy.
Not
I'm not church that you go. I'm not church that I go to. I must invite you to my church.
Raping me.
No.
Because you know what I'm saying.
Let me tell you then. Let me give you.
Story, friend. The most real people, Jomi, right? When you're sitting there in your thoughts and you're thinking about like, where do I feel safe, right? Where have I been welcomed? Those environments for me, I think Eastern Cape with my mother and her church friends. I think school moms, yes, they're wealthy, but that's not the point. Like, I think of these simple environments
Yes,
that are not luxurious.
They're not dressed up.
They're not dressed up
glamorous.
You have to show up.
They're not cool.
So
But
at the
lonely.
beginning,
No, those people.
Makgotso, it's a journey again. So when you're thinking about this is where I am in my super flashy Joburg life, and God is saying, let's simplify. I want you here. I want you real. It's a shedding.
Yeah.
Because now you have to look and say, okay, who's in my circle? What am I doing? How are we behaving? And then you start to shed. And at that time, you cannot see that where he's taking you is going to be more glorious and more beautiful. So in that journey, it is dark. You're by yourself. It's lonely, and you're still trying to figure out like where are we going? Even now, I mean, that was 2020, right? Then lockdown stopped. We came back. We started to do amazing work. I started making different choices about friendships and whatever, and I felt fulfilled for a long time. But let me tell you, last year then happened, and I have perimenopause. Well, self-diagnosed. But the point is, I start having hot flashes. My brain doesn't
Please
work.
go see a
I'm
doctor.
having brain fog, and again. I'm like, what do you want from me, Lord? How am I going to show up without a brain? I have used my looks, my brain, my experience for so long to be who I am. So who am I now as a 40-year-old who can't even like put a presentation together?
Okay, that's why then
You get what I'm
No,
saying?
I get
So
no.
another wave of lonely, again, where I'm going, who's going to accept me? Will my husband even love me?
Okay.
Not the husband, child.
Yeah, okay.
The husband, child.
Okay, baby, I understand.
What are the
And it's true. I understand it, but I think that's where the work starts because it's back to self. It's back self-acceptance. That's the first thing, self-acceptance. I remember my daughter, she's taller than me actually, and she's 16. So when she was in primary school, she used to have issues. She's always go back row. I mean, I'm too tall, whatever. And then I started down, okay, tell me, what can we do about this tallness? Can I really cut you? Is there something we can do? You are tall, my love. Yeah, and then it's bothering you. Tell me, how can mommy help you? Because mommy wants to help. Can we just go and cut and make you short? No, we can't. Yeah, but no, we can't do that. So what do? Let me tell you, the best thing we do is to accept. That's who you are. And let me tell you, for what you meant to do here, you need to be this tall. You understand? So I promise you, and then she started her modeling.
Yes.
Baby!
Girl.
Are you sure? And the tallness.
Do you still want to be tall?
You still want to be short. Exactly. I'm saying, you see, that's how it works. So it's about accepting who you are. Once you can master this, that self-acceptance, then good place to start. Second, in terms of your source, I'm talking about loneliness now. I'm addressing loneliness.
Yes.
No. I'm human as well. So I went through all of that.
Yeah.
Then I was relying whether it's friends, whether it's husband.
Shopping.
And that's too much to ask. Shopping. And that's too much to ask from anybody or from the world. Those things will never fulfill you. So I realized, well, you know what, it's just too much. They can't even make me happy. Maybe I want to buy a favor. Now I want maybe a Bentley and a jet. You understand? You can't. I'm giving an example. I'm giving an example. But what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that?
I mean,
who is it for?
From
If I
the
want
table
it-
to the jet.
Yeah. You see?
Yeah.
I'm just giving an example. I don't think any human being can satisfy the other. That's when I said, okay, let me go back to the drawing board. Let me really understand this thing. And then I went back, and no, man. This Abba Father that I'm praying, it means my source. I've got one source.
I love that.
When I say every morning, I say my source of peace, my source of wealth, my source of money, my source of wisdom. He is my source.
Right,
So
right.
it takes out the loneliness.
Right.
Yeah, Vika is just, friends now are just an addition to this. Because now I've got my source. And let me tell you, I don't just cry, ne? But for my source, I cry. Oh, my God. Oh, I'm sorry,
why,
please,
God?
but my God, why is too tough? I really cry because he is my source.
Yeah.
I'm expecting her father, please make a plan. No, this training is too hard. So that took out the loneliness. Back to myself, took out the loneliness. And when you change, everything else changes around you.
It really does.
It
Your
really
circle,
does. You
the
understand?
friends, the
Yes,
da-da-da-da-da-da.
exactly. Everything changes.
But there's definitely a lot of resistance. I mean, I think, you know, complete surrender to God, which, by the way, I'm still like halfway. It's just it's just such a tough thing because what I don't enjoy about God is the shedding. Guys, I can't.
And he has to.
And he has to, right? To build your character, to build you up. But I can tell you now, every time I am put in the fire, it just feels like death. I'm like, are we even going
But I like it. You just said it feels
He
like.
wants you on the verge.
But I like
so
it.
that he
She
can
said-
save you.
No, she said it feels like. That's what I like. It's not the fire.
Yeah.
It feels like. So if you can understand, this is not the fire. It just feels like. I promise you. You know where you are.
I prefer when I'm in the steering wheel.
That's the problem. You can't.
It is uncomfortable. Huh?
Learn and do.
It's just like he doesn't tell you where you're going, but he expects you to like shed all the stuff. I'm like, okay, I'll let it go slowly. But
slowly.
But like, where are we going?
But why
and
does it mean
trust
so
is
much?
such a tight
Yeah,
thing.
there's an.
I mean,
Why does it mean so much?
What?
The stuff you don't want to shed. Whatever it is, whether it be materials, whether it be title, whether it be proximity. You know when you're like, oh, I was speaking to, Johan Rupert. We were at Johan's place the other weekend. Who's Johan? Oh, Rupert. And,
But I like the question, friend. Let's hear.
It's I think we spoke about it in our catch-up session the other day. It's just how could I put it? I need an English word for this. It's belonging.
oh.
Okay.
Yeah, tribe. So yeah, you want community, and I
But
think
I'm your tribe, so you're not enough.
I have friends.
See.
How much more do you want?
Talking just conceptually. I think even Brené Brown talks about it. It's like as humans we want to connect.
Yeah.
So when you are being disconnected from one
From the
space,
familiar.
yes, from the comfortable, my God, and you are being moved or transformed, it's very uncomfortable. It's because you're venturing into the unknown, the uncertain, and what it takes to then build this trust is very difficult.
Okay.
Trust. I want us to close on that because, yes, we have been chatting for about 50 minutes now. Can you imagine? How do we then close the gap of bias, especially since we now know that it's not malicious?
Yes.
You know, in this conversation, we've come to see that it's not malicious. It's a, protectionism mechanism. It's perhaps even a trust deficit. I trust that which I know.
Yes.
It's not that I don't trust you. It's just that I trust that which I know. So how do we not even on the perspective of the people discriminated against, how do we as leaders, we're all leaders in our different fields, ensure that we're not exercising that unconscious bias? How do we overcome that unconscious bias of, halo horn effect? You're like me, therefore I like you. You're not like me, therefore I tread carefully.
Okay, so it's very difficult to do that. So I'll tell you this as a coach. When I coach someone, I don't talk about other people. I talk about you. I empower you.
Right.
Because if you've got the tools, you'll be able to navigate.
Right.
So even I did the work on myself. That's why
Right.
I was able to navigate.
Right.
So if I always say, people are only responding. You just said that, to what's happening inside. It's not personal. It has nothing to do with you. So if you can understand that, it's not personal. So even if they... It's
got nothing to do with you.
Maybe it's some girl responding to the bullying that she thinks people like you.
Yes.
But it's never personal. So once you get to understand that, then you've got your own peace. Then that's when you apply even compassion. I wonder what is it that they're going through. You understand? So that's when you even apply compassion and so forth.
Just give me the answer, because I ain't got the answers, man.
So hence I say you do the work on self.
Compassion.
Yes, so that's for me. That's how I empower my coaches or the people that I meet or friends and so forth. Forget about even in marriage, same thing. Or you think no. You find he's responding to whatever, but he's just chose to use the wrong platform or however. But it has nothing to do with you.
You know what my husband used to say? If he wants to raise a voice, he would say, "You are always ready to fight." It's like, you are ready for war, man. And the clocks are like this. By the time he's like, "Stanwa, I'm like, yeah. And he's like, I'm us. And he would literally have this backward movement. Like, I think and he's like, you are always fighting.
But what is it? Was it him or was it you, if you think about it?
Look.
You didn't realize what you're doing.
I grew up with women. I'm Xhosa.
Yes.
Men in Xhosa land are king. You don't ask, you don't whatever, right? So I think I've always grown up with that thing. They think they know it all. Plus I'm Christian, so there's submission, whatever. So I think I've just always been a bit against So when the system in general,
Right,
so
not the
even
person.
not the person. So he's just a victim of circumstance because now
Thank you.
he's trying to land a point as my spouse,
Yeah.
and I'm going.
Better not try it.
Like you're strong with me, and I'm telling you, like it's taken me. I mean, we married 18 years. It's taken me so long to just be like,
Exactly.
He's just asking.
Yeah.
But trust
Yeah.
is a difficult thing.
And it takes time.
It takes time. And I've always said it's earned and da. But to your point, I think what we need to practice, which I'm learning now, is this compassion thing. That it's not personal. It's not about you. Everyone's going through their own thing.
Yeah.
And so how's about not making it about you all the time? Because I think, we tend to make it about us. And by the time someone is responding in a certain way, and I'm a historical judge. I'm judgy, like I've been healed from judging. So I was always judgy. But I think what I'm taking away is it's really not about you. Exercise compassion. Someone might be going to their own thing. They have a different background to yours. And so how do we become...
Got their own trauma.
You know, just on that, sorry, Sam, to take your time. You know,
It's your time.
Okay, so and it's my time, and
It's yours, baby.
right. So that event that beautiful event that you ladies are talking about. There's a lady who was there, and then before she came, there was just so much drama, and then at the end I was like asking her, right, maybe she must just not come. Hey, you know, people, that was me judging. Let me tell you, this girl, Kanti, she was diagnosed with cancer. She was told she's got 3 months to live. No. I promise you, it was her funeral. The pastor. But that's what I'm trying to say. You know, for me, I was like, Lord, I'm so sorry. This is the lesson. Don't judge. You don't know what a person is going through. Because she was trying, you understand?
And you receive their behaviors. Oh my God, he hates me. Oh my God, he's being jealous. Oh my God, he's
yes. You know, from that group,
we make it about us and lack compassion.
It's not about us. Even people are trying to fit in. People are trying because maybe they lack, they want to have it all. It has nothing to do with you. Just,
I wish I knew that 10 years ago starting my work.
we know
I
now,
really
it's
do.
never too late. So,
What are you going to do differently, Shaz, with the accent who doesn't date township boys?
Definitely what Coach said about compassion, I think because of your history and how people have treated you, we tend to say, oh, this person is judging me, and then we retaliate, like I said, by pushing them away. I think just that story on the lady itself is that you actually don't know, maybe you caught them on a bad day. Try again, sit down with them, get to know them, talk to them. So definitely for me, it's compassion and putting what you said into action, because I actually didn't know the answer when you started, but when you put that into context, it hit.
Yeah. My one as we close would be, people are actually magnificent.
yeah.
And in this journey of just having these conversations, it's every time I speak to you ladies, I'm like, there's just so much. The more you dig, the more you find. And we tend to discount people without digging, or we dig, we hit a brick wall because they've got, like, you know, their armor up, and we think, there's nothing there. And you don't realize that behind the wall lies treasure. So I know for sure, you know, there are very few things I know for sure in life. One thing I know for sure is that every being has magnificence. And not in a poetic, airy-fairy way, but if you just sit and speak to someone and see them, I love the words you used, see them, you will realize, I've learned so much, just casual conversations around with people, casually, at an event, bumping into each other at a church conference, and you just get this gem, you're like, oh my God, you know? And so, as we wrap, I wish we could do this again and again and again and again and again.
You have to invite us again, girl. We're coming back. We are inviting ourselves to the next one.
To the next one.
Yeah.
I just want to say, you know, thank you so much for not only being here, but being in my life. You know, you guys have done so much for me. You may not even know it. Just the conversations we've had, some of the confessions you've given me, and I'm like, I'm going through. I mean, you laughed at me when I showed you I had a bottle of Moet and cabbage. I saw a picture, I was like, there's Moet and a cabbage head.
My friend,
in my fridge.
your priorities were spot on.
And the spectrum is like, it's here and it's here.
Make a champagne cabbage steak, champagne cabbage soup, champagne cabbage soup. I'll get through January. And I know that this journey for me has been about letting go of all the things I thought makes one worthy. Because I grew up, I'm not gonna lie, grew up comfortable, everything, and I thought, if someone doesn't speak a certain way, sit a certain way, enunciate, pronunciate, you know? And God was like, for real? Let me show you something.
Thank you.
Let me show you something. What's to and I was just like,
and then you find yourself, you're
what am I without all these things? And God was like, what are you? Yes, valuable. And now I don't know. So it was a harsh lesson. Lord, I've learned the lesson. Can I pass the syllabus and get back to the wealth I had in Jesus' name? Amen. Thank you for joining us.